Nowadays, PC games live completely in your Steam library, or if you're feeling crazy, your Epic Game Store library. Well, back in the day, we had physical PC games, and you know what I've realized? Now more than ever, a lot of the people who are playing PC games really don't even remember that you would go to the store and have to buy it off the shelf, take it home, and install it. And while it sounds very, very almost archaic now that this was a thing with the convenience of digital storefronts like Steam, this was still a really cool time period. I'm not even talking about the old days of PC gaming where people will go way back in time to like old days of point and click Sierra or whatever. No, there was, I think, a solid 8 to 10 years from, I'm going to say 1996, 1997 to like the mid to late 2000s, where PC games were awesome. And they ran alongside the PS1, the N64, the PS2, GameCube, and the Xbox. And while I've been picking up some of these PC games as I've gone along, rebuilding a collection that I had a long time ago, and I thought I would go over some of that here today and check out some of these old school PC games. So if you guys enjoy the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. Something a little different here, since I don't really think about a lot of people just doing old PC like physical collection stuff that often. Anyway, this is one of my favorite games ever for PC with Halo Combat Evolved. If you had this back in the day, you already know this was it. Also, maybe had one of the best demos ever made too back then. You played just Blood Gulch online in the demo, you were set. You just hit get list and it'll give you an entire section of rooms that you jump into and just start playing capture the flag constantly. It was just 24/7 Blood Gulch, capture the flag. That's what it was back then. And this was with the original Xbox for us. So we didn't have the built-in online play. You could do things like X-Link or X-Kai Link or whatever. They had that, but we had to wait to Halo 2. No, this was it right here, guys. I'm telling you, they had a bunch of extra maps, some new weapons. There's a flamethrower in this thing. Maybe one day I'll check out the demo on PC because that still sticks with me to this day. This one I picked up and it doesn't, I don't think it has all the like inserts. Now it has the CD. And you need that to install it. And people still look for this, by the way, because you can do like mods and stuff for it that people will still run. And so there's still a community around this. Big old manual for it too. Nice colorful manual. So, and then we have our system requirements. It's kind of funny to look back on how little you need. I mean, a 733 megahertz processor, 1.2 gigabytes of hard drive space. That was a lot, by the way, back then. And a 32 megabyte video card. Yes, it was very powerful machines back then. Mega Man X on the PC. Oh yeah. This was out alongside of the Super Nintendo version, and I had this when I was younger. This was like the Mega Man X game I played for at least a year before I got the Super Nintendo version. And this one is just basically inferior to the Super Nintendo version almost in every single way, which sounds weird because now we're used to PC games just outclassing console games just about every time. This one, unfortunately, looks like it went through a bit of a journey to get here, so I'll have to get a new CD front for it. I do like the CD artwork is cool on that. That looks awesome. So this, it's funny in the manual it shows you. They were expecting you to have to install it through DOS. So this would have came out, man, Windows 95, it was either about to release or was still very, very new. It might not have even been out yet. I'm trying to remember. But here, I mean, guys, we're talking about 46 to 33 megahertz to play this thing. And then it goes through launching the CD through DOS, all the command line prompts you have to type in, and then also adjusting the game's speed as you're setting it up. And on top of this, the biggest drawback outside of it being it was kind of stuttery. Like it would struggle to play. The music was bad. It was like some garbled MIDI mess. You can go online and listen to it. It wasn't great, but this one, I have a ton of nostalgia for Mega Man X on the PC, and it surprised a lot of people that it even existed. I think it was this, what I posted online, I think it was this and Mega Man X3. Those went to PC, but it was an interesting time for this. The Super Nintendo was completely outclassing PC. Here's another one that seemed to catch some people off guard. Yes, Final Fantasy VII on the PC. Yeah, I had this as well back then, and it was, I think I got this, I feel like this was a Christmas present, maybe? But this was a big deal back then because, one, it was Final Fantasy going to 3D, and when it hit the PS1, it was game-changing for an entire generation at that time. But two, it also went the route of multiple discs for PC. That's not necessarily new in and of itself, but this just in particular had that feeling of the PS1 game because it had multiple discs. So you can see 1, 2, and 3, and then we had the install disc. So you would still have to change CDs as you went through the game. And it says here to start the game or continue, you just have to have the right disc in the CD drive for your PC, which is already nostalgic, I'm sure, for a lot of people to have that. But yes, if you started up a saved game that needs the other disc, it would ask you to put that one in. So it did function just like the PS1 after you run that first install disc. And check this out. See, you would put this over your over the num key, or that right there. See that? There, look. That way you knew what everything did. Yeah, that's how it was back then. They had it already set up, and you kind of had to follow the button layout they had. So they said, whatever, we'll just give them a piece of paper that you put on your keyboard. I mean, that's some old school PC, like, Vectric stuff. And then our artwork here is really cool. I think the manual is, I feel like it's supposed to go back here, but it really stresses the casing itself, so I just kind of leave it on top. But this did come with, there's the 1-900 number you can call, by the way, which costs a lot of money. I'm sure a lot of kids got in trouble back then for calling that number. One, because the parents probably saw 1-900, thought it was something else, but then two, the bill ran up. But this also came in a large, it was almost like a big triangle kind of casing. I don't have that with this one. Back in the day, I did have it. And you know what happened to it? Well, the basement back then at my parents' house would flood quite often, multiple times, and at least the first time, that's where I kept a lot of the games, were downstairs on the bookshelf on the bottom part, and it got hit with water, and that was kind of it, like really like underwater, and unfortunately, as you're gonna find, there's a lot of paper here with these PC games. They're very susceptible to moisture. I'm just gonna follow that up with the other Final Fantasy game, Final Fantasy VIII. I did not have this one when I was younger, but I saw it. I thought, you know, that would be kind of cool to pick up here and check out as I'm kind of rebuilding some of this PC collection. Did not seem to come with a numlock or the number key, so I don't know how I'm supposed to understand the controls for this. But I mean, I like the artwork and stuff for it. It has 4 discs, as you would expect. I'm trying to think if any of these are going to be an install disc. No, it's just disc 1 through 4. So I assume it's going to be kind of the same way. Oh, wait, no, hold on. We have an install disc. There we go. Thought we had one in here. So same thing as PS1. It's going to go from 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it just kind of follows along with that multi-disc setup. But I didn't really play Final Fantasy VIII on the PC back then. As you can see, it did release, and this is the big thing too. The manuals. They must know PC players love to read, because these are some really intricate manuals just about across the board. And they have some pretty good information here as well, just trying to, I think in this case, they have like a mini walkthrough where they sort of show you how the beginning of the game plays out. And the idea being, hey, if you like this, check out Brady Games and their strategy guides. I'm sure it was kind of a collaborative effort to sell more strategy guides. But even beyond that, there is a lot of really cool artwork. It's well done. There's all the characters set up with their bios. So it's kind of cool to still see this, since now you really don't get manuals in anything at all now, so it's fun to look back on some of this stuff and see. And there is the 1-900 number once again, just in case you want to get charged. It was probably like, oh, here it is, 95 cents a minute. Here's Halo 2. We really did not like this, at least I didn't. I'm sure many other people as well, since is the games for Windows and required Windows Vista. Back when Windows Vista came out, it was cool because it looked interesting and different. It looked futuristic, sleek, and Vista did get better over time, but I mean, no one goes back to it now. So it was unfortunate just because you needed Vista to play Halo 2, and Halo 2 on PC was actually really good, minus the requirement of that. They were able to tie in achievements because they had Xbox Live integration. And look, you need your NVIDIA 6100. I had a 6600 GT, I think, at the time of this release. And then maybe a year or two later, I ended up getting that 8800 GTX, which was one of my favorite video cards ever made. It was just, I mean, absolute beast back then. They did have a map editor, which was pretty cool, being able to just kind of edit and change stuff around and be able to play on some of the maps that people made. That was a nice wrinkle for Halo 2. It was just the big hang up of Windows Vista mostly, and I think people from went through all of that probably understand. I think for the most part, people tried to figure out ways around this, but I never really got into it because of it. I had Windows Vista, and I played this for a bit, and then I just kind of moved on, especially with Halo 3. Not that Halo 3 ever went to PC, but, you know, I went to Xbox. What am I going to do? I had Halo 3. So Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2 is probably my favorite PC game ever made. Ever made. And I would love to see some sort of remake for this. Not even a remaster, no. I think this is a game worthy of a remake. Kyle Katarn really took off in this game after Dark Forces 1, and yes, it's because they gave him a lightsaber, they made him force sensitive, but they gave you the ability to go either light or dark side, which was a big deal back then. I mean, it's already been done a couple times now, clearly, but at this time in the late 90s, okay, late 90s, this was groundbreaking. I mean, it was incredible stuff. And it took a while to find a decent version of this game. And even so, in terms of like condition for it, even with that, I'm still missing like the inserts and stuff for it. So I have you see the manual there. And then I have both discs here. So it was a 2-disc set, right? You have disc 1 and disc 2. And they had this, and I think they had another game that was kind of like an expansion. It's eluding me right now. It was something with Sith, I think, in the title, which is unfortunate. I just didn't play that one as much as I played this. I mean, this is just incredible stuff. You can play it on Steam, but it does need some help in terms of graphical settings and changes because the game looks like, here you go, kind of like Quake, sort of like those kind of visuals, okay? And that's what I mean. It could use some help. And while I wouldn't mind seeing a remaster just to move it up to current platforms, I still think this is a game that is worthy of doing a full remake for it. And I'm hopeful. I'm holding out hope that it'll happen. But since we're still working through the Fallen Order Jedi Survivor saga now with the third one coming up, probably not anytime soon. But awesome game. If you've been curious about this, check it out on Steam. You'll have to get over some of the quirks of the older visuals and some of the controls, but I do think it's absolutely worth playing through now. I'm just throwing these two in at the same time because for the most part, they filled the same need, which was showing off how good games can look on a PC that's well equipped. I know Crysis is always talked about. I get it. It's like, can it run Crysis? Guys, I'm telling you, these games looked insane back then if you had a good video card. Far Cry, I think, was a big one for CryEngine. It showed off all kinds of cool effects and incredible visuals, specifically on the beach. That's the one I remember the most when you're swimming around. I did an entire video on this because it was such an impressive thing where I even went back and played it now. Chaos Theory, though. This was a game that I think was like the pinnacle. I think this was like the pinnacle, the peak for Splinter Cell. Some people look back on the first one as like, wow, it really broke on the scene and did some cool stuff. No, Chaos Theory had the visuals, it had the gameplay, it had the multiplayer. There was so much going on here with this game, and it really stressed your system. All right, that was the big thing here. I think Pandora Tomorrow was the first one I got where I was like, whoa, I actually need to get better equipment, better hardware for my system because it was struggling. And a lot of that was when you go down the train or you go through any kind of those like cut up curtains, those like plastic, and you go through that, it would just slow down my system completely. It was an interesting time back then with video cards coming out and making actual strides and really being able to showcase what they can do in some of these different games. Not really like now where it's mostly incremental updates for hardware and a lot of smoke and mirrors to make it look like the frame rates are going up 100%. I'm throwing this one in there because what a cool game. Also, the box is really neat looking. I don't know, just it has that nice like lenticular sort of look to it, very shiny. very Matrixy, I guess. This is a game that, so we had Enter the Matrix. That came out kind of disappointing. The biggest thing about that, I think, was kind of the personal one-on-one combat that they did, where they changed the side view and you would fight somebody. But it was also the fact that they had the movie tying into it with scenes from the movie and some that weren't in it, and they were kind of cut and put in there as like extra scenes. At that time, we were still kind of impressed with games running full motion video, especially with the DVD quality we got, say, out of the PS2. No, for this though, they really went all out with the gameplay. So you wanted to play as Neo back on the Enter the Matrix. We didn't. Now they let you do it, and they let you go all out. Like, there was some really cool stuff here with combos, with stopping bullets, with weapons, swords. I remember you slice people up with swords, all kinds of guns, and you do battle hundreds of Ancient Smiths. This was the one of those games that did rely on NVIDIA the way it's meant to be played down here through Atari. And this one does still have the cardboard and everything for this Atari. Going downward, disc, and we have our manual, which has a receipt in it. Look at that. Best Buy, and this is Onimusha 3 Demon Siege. So that's not even this game. I have no idea why this is in here. It's from 2006, up in New York, Best Buy. So there you go. Anyway, Path of Neo, fully recommended if you haven't played this. I played it on the original Xbox, and then I did get it for PC eventually. At one point in time, I'm telling you, you'd go into the store, and you would find a bunch of PC games that were marked down quite a bit. So at one point in time, I would go in and clean up on PC releases. Very few releases I got day one for PC, but when those sales hit, they hit hard. It wasn't quite like Steam sale category, like that level, but it was still pretty good. I wanted to finish out with this one, not because it has any kind of nostalgia for me, since it's still the current GTA game that's out. No, it just kind of shows some of the crazy, ridiculous nature of making PC games physically now. Think about how large file sizes are, and the fact that we never really went past DVDs for PC in terms of game releases. We didn't go to Blu-ray. Like, we stopped at DVD, you could still get a Blu-ray drive, but most people opted to just not get a disc drive, like a CD drive, DVD drive, a Blu-ray drive in their system. It's just not there anymore. So because of that, if you need to release it physically, you may need to put 7 DVDs in there. Yes, that's how it is. The fun thing is they did artwork for each disc. So that's kind of cool. They put like a different character from the game on there, which is funny. But that's how it was. You know, you end up with this big old box set, which I think I found this one at a Walmart randomly. Like, they just had it, and it was $10. So imagine putting all these discs out there like this, with all the extra paperwork and stuff here for your CD key, and you still have to put out this large. I mean, it's almost a box set of it's a box set of DVDs. I'm picturing like if you bought a series or something and they put all these DVDs out there. No, that's just your game, and you're really just going to use one disc all the time. The rest you use once and then put it back in the case and then put it in a closet somewhere, because you don't have to reinstall it every time. Anyway, it was just kind of a fun video going over some of the physical PC games that I've been getting somewhat recently, and the one that I should have got for this video, because I'm talking about how generations coming through have kind of forgotten the idea of even physical PC media, is Half-Life 2, because that, to me, kicked off just about all of this stuff with digital PC games, since it was really Valve and Steam, their big push to get people on Steam. You buy Half-Life 2, and you have to download Steam to authenticate it. It came with DRM, even if you had it physically, and back then, everybody hated Steam. Well, most people, I would say. The vast majority of people hated Steam because they didn't want to have to get it so that they could play Half-Life 2 physically on their PC. And now we've come full circle to where the new generation doesn't really care about physical PC games anymore, and they love Steam. So, hey, if Valve has shown us anything, it's that if you can outlast the old generation and the new generation comes through, you'll be in good shape as long as you provide a very convenient launcher like Steam. But let me know what you guys think about this down below. Again, just a fun video. Let me know if there are any physical PC games from around this era that you really enjoyed and you look back on with fond memories. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.